operation safely. Thank you, Mr Chair.
Mr Chairman.
Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr Chairman, my comments are probably best directed to the Minister of Justice, but I understand I can speak about this under this appropriation. I am interested to know what work in the appropriation is being carried out relating to a decision of the Cabinet Social Wellbeing Committee back in March, where the committee agreed in principle to a comprehensive review of national electoral law, subject to reporting back to the committee around scope and processes for the review and the financial implications. I note in the Cabinet Committee paper it talked about how resourcing for agencies to deal with issues relating to funding for their activities and reducing or raising awareness of foreign interference risks will be taken into account when determining agency resources. Presumably that has happened under this particular estimates of appropriation. I note that when the Minister was preparing this report, which was a response to the Justice Committee's inquiry into the general election and foreign interference, that particular inquiry did receive advice from the Director-General of Intelligence and Security. The Director-General, in talking about electoral issues and possible areas for government to consider when it comes to funding of reviews, indicated that whilst political donations are legally sanctioned as a form of participation in New Zealand politics, the SIS has become concerned when some aspect of the donation is obscured or is channelled in a way that prevents scrutiny of the origin of the donation. So what I want to ask the Minister, and what I want to raise as an issue, is what work is being done to tackle more fully the issues raised by the Justice Committee, the issues raised by the Director-General of Intelligence and Security, the issues raised by academics like Canterbury University Professor Anne-Marie Brady, who all are pointing to the fact that we do have significant foreign interference risks in this country, and the fact that our political donations regime is not scrutinised enough. In the media, I asked the Minister again if he has concerns about these types of donations. In the media was an Inner Mongolia donation, $150,000 that came from a company owned by a non-English speaking individual in Inner Mongolia, where $150,000 came to a political party, and on the surface of that, there's no real connection with New Zealand money. Journalists looked into it. They found that there were significant connections back to the Chinese Communist Party, and that donation, for all intents and purposes, was a foreign donation, but it slipped through the cracks. I have before me here 60-odd thousand line items of donations that are from the National Party. It was given to me in error. I call it a leak. It's the type of information that only party secretaries and chief financial officers and auditors tend to see. It's line by line individual information. It's the very information that people complained about in the inquiry that is not public enough. Earlier today, I was threatened with injunctive action if I attempted to table this in the Parliament. I think the lawyers making those threats probably should go across to Victoria University Law School and take a paper on the 1688 Bill of Rights for Parliament and free speech in the Parliament, because if members of Parliament want to speak about information that they've been leaked or provided, albeit in error, they're able to. But I was asked extremely seriously not to release this information, because it is every single line item of donations from the National Party for the past couple of years. But what it shows in there, and what I think the Minister needs to tell the House more about what he's doing, is when we have in documents like this, where you can see, and in here, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars linked to the National Party's Chinese group. When we have information here, where we see donations like the Inner Mongolia donation, where we see backdoor loopholes, where foreign money can enter this country by way of a company and then go to a political party and for all intents and purposes are foreign donations, are we going to be serious about cleaning this up? There are more investigations that are out there, good on them. I accept there's questions I'm having to answer through a system as well. But there is serious information here. I'm not going to table this. I'll take the high road. I don't like threats of legal injunctions. I do have free speech in this parliament, but I'll take the high road in this particular case. But when will the government do more about this issue?
The Honourable Andrew Little.